Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Stars and welcome to our critical design review. In our project, we are trying to create a test bench for software stack of autonomous vehicles and to replace a good amount of real world testing by testing in the simulator. We want to do this to evade the high costs associated with real world testing, both monetary and the risk associated with running suboptimal models in the real world. And for this system to be a good alternative to on-road testing, the traffic behavior in simulation needs to be realistic. And we will incorporate the realism by learning from real-world data. Next, coming to our use case. So our system is for autonomous vehicle software developers like Mr. Stark. He wants to test some high-level planning and perception algorithms in simulator and not in the real world. He adds the STARS plugin into the simulator. Like in real world, the agents sometimes break traffic rules. He also has the option of changing behaviors by tweaking certain parameters. For example, the system allows him to change traffic behavior such that there are more cases of traffic rule violation. He can also retrain the model using previously collected data. All these help him speed up the iterative process of testing. Next up, the mandatory performance requirements. The first two requirements are for the speed and coverage of the video stream used for training the behavior model. The next two are the precision and recall values for the detection algorithm, which we use to extract relevant actor information from the video stream. We also track the detected objects in bird's eye view, and we are using MOTE and MOTP matrix to test their accuracy. The last two metrics are for the speed and accuracy of the behavior model. In the seventh one, we don't have a number here yet. We will eventually have a value there once we have made a little more progress in the behavior model. And we will also revisit all these requirements while discussing individual subsystems. Next, the non-functional requirements. We have added the fourth one here, which is sort of a knob for tuning aggression parameter for the model, which controls things like how frequently traffic rules are violated, what is the average distance between adjacent cars, etc. Next, we have desirable performance requirements, where we have increased the precision and recall values for detection and increased the simulation speed requirement. There are no changes in these since PDR. Moving on to functional architecture, again, no major changes. The data extraction block is new here. It basically collects relevant information from pre-annotated data sets. So detection and tracking is not required for them. And the upper block in behavior model converts all this information into the format required by behavior model. There are no other changes in this. And the above changes are also reflected in the cyber physical architecture. Here is the data extraction block, and here is the conversion, format conversion block. And also the progress that we have made in the simulation subsystem has helped us add a little more detailing in this part. Moving on to system status, where Harsh can take over.
Yeah, so I'll talk about our current system status of our subsystems. So we have we have four major subsystems. First is data capture. So we capture data from like different environments. So like we can process, and then we process it to gather the behaviors required to train a behavior model. And then these behaviors are employed into the non-play characters in the simulation. So first I'll go to a data capture subsystem. So the requirement that we were targeting was that for the video to be useful that we're capturing, it should be at least 30 FPS and should capture the entire view of the intersection. So these are the multiple sources of data that we have explored. So one is open data sets, like data set from existing sources, then real world data, and then steering wheel system. So this is a view from Carla. So these are different intersections that you're seeing, and the circled ones is where we have mounted traffic camera and collected data from. So while doing this, we were able to like tune different parameters and create this automated process of capturing the images and the ground truth and all the relevant information that are subsequent processes of detection and tracking required, and the information that a behavior model would require. This is a video showing like sample data, how it looks like when we capture after mounting the camera inside Kala. So the 2D boxes are the ground truth boxes which would be required to train the detection model. So I'll move to the steering wheel system. We were able to integrate the steering wheel to the Kala, and the idea was to be able to capture the nuances of human driving while someone is so as to train a behavior model that those aspects are captured. Then for open data sets, we explored new scenes, and we were able to extract some relevant information that we'd be needing for the behavior model. So this doesn't require we can bypass the tracking and detection pipeline if we extract the data. The challenge here obviously is like some of the information is not directly available. We will have to process it. For example, traffic light states, we have to process for new things. I'll move to the next data processing subsystem. Targeted requirements were to be able to get detection recall precision and for tracking to be able to meet the multiple object tracking metrics. So this is how both the pipelines look like. So for detection, we are using Detectron-based faster RCN model. So the data that we captured from Kala, we use the ground truth 2D boxes to train the detector, and this is how the test set looked like. The training set had like 2600 images, and the test set we had like around 700 images. For tracking, we use a detection output, and we use a preliminary tracking in the camera view, and so to track the bounding boxes. Then we track the bottom center of the bounding boxes to the bird's eye view using a predefined homography. So the strong and weak points for this pipeline is that for the current scenario, in the current use case, the system works really well, and we're able to tune it and check different parameters of our algorithm and see which one works best like quite quickly. In the real world, we might require like training the detector one more time, and we might not have that much control over like the delays that may come if because we don't have control over the weather, and so that might be one weak point. And also the pipeline right now requires homography pre-computed. So the correspondences to compute homography are manually handpicked. This is how a detection algorithm's output looks like. So the colored ones are the output from the detector. The black ones, the black bounding boxes behind them are the grounded bounding boxes directly come from Kala. The curve here is the precision recall curve. So checking it at different threshold value, different recall, we're checking the precision that we get in. On the right, the table shows the evaluation of the detection part. So the experiment involved running the same test set across different confidence threshold and and measuring the precision and recall values, and that allowed us to basically choose a good confidence threshold which had like a reasonable precision recall values. So we are meeting both desirable and mandatory performance requirements with this. For tracking, I'll just play it here. Yeah. So this is the tracker's output on the left. The 2D boxes from the detector are first passed through the camera view tracker, that is SORT, and that algorithm assigns IDs to these vehicles. So on the left, you see vehicles have IDs, those are assigned by SORT. And then we transform the bottom center of each of these vehicles, like on each of the boxes on the vehicles, to this bird's eye view. And we're tracking, we have another tracker here which is tracking these pixels, these bottom center of the boxes in this pixel bird's eye view. So this is where we get a final trajectory from on the right side. So I'll move back to the slide. Yeah. So on the right, the table shows the experiment that we carried out to evaluate the tracker. So we ran a tracking algorithm on different sets of data captured at like different intersections under varied traffic density, and we were like comfortably meeting the mandatory performance requirements uh, pertaining to this. Give to Deval for behavior modeling.
Hi. So next up is the behavioral modeling subsystem. This subsystem takes in input from data processing system. All the processed data is fed into the learning module. We are using learning by cheating as our baseline model, which takes in the bird's eye view data, top level command and velocity as input, and predicts the future locations, and in turn steer and throttle control commands. We can see a real world scenario on the top left GIF, and we have replicated such edge case scenario in simulator on top right GIF. So currently our agent is able to respond to traffic lights, drive within lane boundary, follow the leading vehicle, and avoid collision. Next semester, we would like to tweak and fine tune LBC model and retrain with real data. We would also like to add a high level controller on top of the agent model. This would ensure that we are able to control and tweak the city level behaviors like average distance between cars or probability of breaking red light by agent. Next up is the simulation subsystem. This subsystem takes into the model from the last subsystem and runs it inside a simulator. We are currently using Carla as our simulation platform. There are two major parts of this. The first one is scenario runner, and the second one is the model runner or the custom agent runner. Scenario runner sets up the environment or the scenario, and the model runner takes care of the custom agents and their real-time data requirements. Targeted requirements for this subsystem is to run minimum 3 simultaneous agents at 10 FPS simulation speed. Currently, we are able to achieve around 9 to 11 FPS, just satisfying our target requirement. In the future, we would like to optimize this performance by server-side or client-side development. Here is the demo. Here's the demo video. We can see that around here, we can see that the 3 agents are running simultaneously. We can also see the FPS on top left demo window here, which is around 10 currently. Adding more custom agents reduces the FPS asymptotically, reaching towards around 3 FPS. We can see that from the table and graph, the number of the graph of number of vehicle versus FPS. For 3 vehicles, we are able to achieve around 10.61 FPS. As we saw, we are just at the border of the requirement, which leaves no room for further development. But on the bright side, having completed the end-to-end pipeline, we can confidently spend time on performance improvement next semester. So next up is the project management.
Mandeep, I think you're on mute.
Thanks, sorry. So now we have updated our work breakdown structure. In the data capture system, we are currently working on retrieving the data from different sources. The data processing subsystem has been completed. The behavior modeling subsystem, we are planning to enhance the current baseline behavior model. And the simulation subsystem, some implementation and software design has been done for the current behavior model, but we will be reiterating this when we have more requirements from the behavior modeling subsystem. The full integrated subsystem level test and the project management goes hand in hand. During our spring semester, we were able to achieve following milestones. For some reason, the formatting of this slide has changed. And so majorly we worked upon developing our baseline behavior modeling was completed. And we were able to complete our image and trajectory processing with the evaluation metrics. Below down, it was written that we were able to complete our traffic simulation subsystem with respect to the current behavior model. For fall milestones, our major target is to spend time on modeling. We will be collecting data from different data sources and retraining our behavior model.
And we also plan to augment our behavior model using the rule-based scenarios. For simulation, we plan to optimize the simulator code to accommodate higher FPS, and we'll be doing the system level integration as well. For fall test plan, we target to finish our modeling, prototyping, and designing and implementation by early October. And then we plan to integrate it with the simulation by mid-October, and the final integration will be happening by mid-November. For fall validation demonstrations, we'll be doing that in MRSD lab, and then we'll be using a desktop system and our steering wheel system as equipment. The demonstration one helps us to validate our mandatory performance requirements regarding the data capture and data processing subsystems. So the procedure is like we will be processing pre-recorded real-world videos and capturing the data from a steering wheel system in real time. Somebody will be driving through the steering wheel system in Carla, and will be recording that scenario. For demonstration 2, we will be replicating the same scenario that we drove in demo 1 inside the simulator, but this time using our behavioral models, which will help us, and then we will compare the observed trajectory with the captured ground truth trajectory. And we will make sure that we run at least 3 to 5 agents simultaneously by showcasing our FPS requirement is matched or not. For demonstration 3, we plan to showcase that we are able to have some tunability of aggression parameters. Currently, we are in the process of defining this validation criteria because we are yet to integrate the probabilistic rule-based model in the behavior modeling, and yeah, after we do that, we will be able to define a proper validation criteria. So the budget we have spent on a computer machine and a camera. But in fall semester, we majorly plan to spend resources on buying parts for the data capture subsystem, camera, and steering wheel controllers. Now we can move on to risk management.
Am I audible? I'm not able to hear anybody.
Yeah.
Can someone just mention in the chat if I'm audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Can you hear us?
Okay, so I'll just go through the presentation. We are doing our risk management, and I'll go through the top few risks in the red and the yellow areas. Yeah, so one of the main risks is slow model execution. So as they all showed in the previous part about just meeting our requirements. So once we add more changes to the behavior model, this might slow down. So we are already putting this on the risk mitigation plan in our in the plan for our fall. The next major risk is unable to capture data due to the pandemic situation. So we've reduced the consequence for this, as after the PDR, we focused on moving or focused on processing alternative modes of realistic data, which is primarily open data sets such as Argoverse and Newscenes, and processing them and identifying if they fit our use case successfully. Yes, they do. So the consequence is reduced, and if there are issues in capturing data in the fall, we are better prepared as of now. The next major risk is missing project milestones, but we've reduced the likelihood as working over a semester. We've realized our strengths, and the process of working or delivering milestones has been smooth enough till now. We've eliminated risk related to detection and tracking algorithms because we've seen our performance be much better. Also, extreme weather conditions right now are out of our scope, but so that's why this risk has been removed. And in terms of hardware, we have simplified our hardware by using more integrated components that we can buy for the capture system. So this has been reduced as well. Coming to the lessons learned, we realized risk management is critical, and ensuring to review the risk continuously every month, maybe, or during every PR, and make necessary changes to our priorities has been helpful. Lean development and agile has been one of the things that a lot of us are doing in general across the teams. So yeah, we start with our MVP, figure out the integrations across multiple systems, and then continue to iterate. So this has helped us save time in the end when we have to do demonstrations or do the final integrated systems together. Adopting best practices in general for software has helped us collaborate better, and
collaboration has a further effect of, for example, for big tasks, having multiple people who know about the tasks, it gives us a good variance of ideas in the whole process. And for admin tasks, we realized that dividing and conquering helped, at least in the administration and the due dates part. So uh, each task had a different owner in terms of the due date, and the owner would divide the tasks and we would start work on it individually. Key activities, summarizing everything that we've shown till now, primary focus is in behavior modeling, and things that derive or that contribute to that major requirement include the capturing part, which is steering wheel and open data sets. And also to improve the simulation, the simulator bridge is one of our major focuses as well. And data processing and the core simulation system, we would be adding incremental upgrades based on whatever requirements we get while building the behaviors. All of this together will lead to the fall validation demo while integrating. So the integration is also a part. So this concludes our presentation. Thanks a lot for your time.